Have you ever wondered when humans started to become, well, human? When did we move beyond just surviving and start creating meaning, culture, and tradition? It's a journey that takes us deep into our past, to a time when our ancestors first began to look at the world and each other in a profoundly new way. Today, we're exploring the dawn of human ritual, the first traditions, the earliest art, and the very first burials. Let's travel back, way back, to the time of our early ancestors like Homo heidelbergensis and Neanderthals. For a long time, we thought only our species, Homo sapiens, was capable of complex, symbolic thought, but incredible discoveries are rewriting that story. Imagine a cave not in France or Spain, but in South Africa. It's called the Rising Star Cave System. Deep within its chambers, scientists found the remains of a small-brained hominin, Homo naledi. What's astonishing is how they got there. These individuals weren't dragged in by predators or washed in by a flood. It seems they were deliberately placed in these deep, dark, almost inaccessible chambers. Could this be one of the earliest forms of funerary practice? A behavior we thought was unique to us, happening hundreds of thousands of years before we even existed? And it wasn't just about how they treated their dead. Our ancient relatives were also artists. Take the Bruniquel cave in France. Over 300,000 years ago, Neanderthals ventured deep underground. They broke off stalagmites and arranged them into large, circular structures. They even used fire, leaving behind traces of controlled burns. Why? We don't know for sure. It wasn't a home. It was dark, deep, and mysterious. Was it a ceremonial space? A place for rituals we can only dream of? The effort involved was immense, suggesting this place held a powerful significance for them. This wasn't about survival. It was about something more, something symbolic. Then there's the question of personal adornment. In the Krapina cave in Croatia, researchers found eagle talons from 130,000 years ago that had cut marks and polish on them. It suggests they were worn as jewelry, perhaps as a necklace or a pendant. Think about that. A Neanderthal, carefully selecting and modifying eagle talons to wear. This isn't just a tool, it's a statement. It's an expression of identity, of status, or perhaps of a connection to the spiritual world. They were communicating ideas without words, using symbols to express who they were. And what about the most profound ritual of all, burying the dead? One of the most famous examples comes from the Shanidar cave in Iraq. Here, a Neanderthal individual, known as Shanidarfal, was laid to rest around 65,000 years ago. When archaeologists first excavated the site, they found clumps of ancient pollen around the skeleton. This led to the romantic idea of the flower burial that his companions had lovingly placed. Flowers on his grave, while recent studies suggest the pollen might have been brought in by burrowing rodents. The fact remains that this individual was intentionally buried. Another skeleton from the same cave, Shanidar I, was an older male who had survived multiple severe injuries. He was blind in one eye, had a withered arm, and walked with a limp. He couldn't have survived alone. His community must have cared for him for years. This tells us about Neanderthal compassion about social bonds, and a sense of responsibility to one another. These aren't isolated incidents. At La Chapelle-aux-Saints in France, another Neanderthal was carefully placed in a pit. In Israel, at the Skull and Kofse caves, we find some of the earliest Homo sapiens burials dating back around 100,000 years. Some of these individuals were buried with grave goods, like the jawbone of a wild boar placed in the arms of one person, or a deer antler laid across the chest of a child. These objects weren't random, they were chosen. They were gifts for the journey into the afterlife, or symbols of the person's life and status. The act of burial itself is revolutionary. It says, this person mattered. It shows a belief that death is not the end, and that the individual's spirit or memory deserves to be honored. It's the moment we start to grapple with mortality and the great mysteries of existence. And of course, we have to talk about art. Around 40,000 years ago, something incredible happens. We see an explosion of creativity across Europe, often called the Creative Revolution. Our Homo sapiens ancestors began painting the walls of deep caves, with breathtaking images of mammoths, bison, lions, and horses. Think of Lascaux and Chauvet in France. These weren't just doodles. These were masterpieces created in flickering torchlight, deep within the earth. Some theories suggest they were part of hunting magic, to ensure a successful hunt. Others believe they were part of shamanistic rituals, gateways to the spirit world. Whatever their purpose, they show a mind capable of abstract thought, of storytelling, and of a deep connection to the natural world. At the same time, they were sculpting. The famous Venus figurines, like the Venus of Willendorf, appear across Europe. These small statues of female figures, often with exaggerated features, have fascinated us for centuries. Were they fertility goddesses? Self-portraits by female artists? Good luck charms? We may never know for sure, but they show a shared cultural idea that spread across a vast continent. They were creating a common language of symbols, a shared set of beliefs that connected disparate groups of people. So, what does all this mean? It means that the things we think of as quintessentially human art, ritual, spirituality, caring for our dead have roots that go far deeper than we ever imagined. These traditions weren't invented overnight. They evolved over hundreds of thousands of years through different species of hominins. They show us that the journey to becoming human wasn't a straight line, but a complex, branching path filled with compassion, creativity, and a yearning for meaning. From the deliberate placement of a body in a dark cave to the painting of a bison on a cavern wall, our ancestors were laying the foundations for everything that would follow. For religion, for society, for civilization itself. They were the first to ask the big questions, and in doing so, they began the incredible story of us. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into our deep past, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.